Let's fast forward just a couple of years. So we've started all the way back. The slingshot's about 95% of the way there. Sanae Takaichi, let's learn a little bit about her. Why has President Trump in particular has seemed quite thrilled with her arrival in Japanese politics, or at least as prime minister? We also see that she wants to have a solid relationship with POTUS as well. Very solid, like she's been in politics since the early 90s, I believe. She's not a dummy. She's very smart. She knows what the deal is. Been in the LDP for decades, knows how the system works in there. She has been in the cabinets before. She is maybe a Japanese nationalist when it comes to Article 9 and maybe making some changes with the Japanese constitution, as well as people in politics their view as disciplined, tough, aggressive, firm, steady, rather than just being a populist that grew overnight. She's been in the diet for decades. She knows what to do, what to say, how to get messaging across for the country. How is she growing though? That's really the big question, is that what makes her politically attractive? Name ID. She's been there several decades, right? So she has that institutional credibility. She is maybe coattails of Shinzo Abe a little bit, hold some same policy views. And again, the Japanese nationalism with defense capabilities needing to improve and trying to get a better national security plan in place helped with voters last Sunday. And again, they're not only stressed about North Korea and China and risk of maybe losing Taiwan, it's also, remember, the population is old. 10 years from now, it's going to be a whole different country. And you also saw with immigration concerns. What we talked about at the very beginning of this slide deck is they view the country as being birthed by gods, and the role of the emperor to preserve the Japanese people and the culture and not have a whole bunch of immigrants move in. They see that as a much bigger concern than a lot of people in the United States, for example. Is that if they had a southern border and millions of people flooded in, like in the past couple of years here, there'd be riots. They'd abolish Article 9 themselves. They'd storm the government or whatever. Before Sunday, she had a majority, however, not particularly impressive or a coalition able to radically implement change. She did all she could with what she had. However, she remains very popular herself, and she knew that, okay, if I call a snap election for this time, I'll still be popular and I can try and improve my standing in the country and within the party, get more party members elected. The demographic decline greatly intensified. If you're my age in Japan, you're not sure if you make it to be a grandpa, you're not sure what the country is going to look like. You really don't. And you want some mental relief, maybe that at least the government I put in is at least going to try and take this seriously. China, North Korea, regional tensions elevating. Cost of living, the other money issues, the stagnation of the economy still stinks. Nothing changed overnight, but they needed change when it came to the economy. Cost of living's too high, and they view her as a strong man. Even though she's a woman, they view her as somebody that's been in the game just long enough, that is respected, that is able to get President of the United States in a good little relationship as well, and have a solid partnership with the U.S., while at the same time leaving that dependency on the U.S. Maybe not a shoulder to cry on, but somebody to call instead. On Sunday, as I mentioned, super majority now for Takaichi. Popularity and approval ratings were incredibly high before the vote even occurred. They wanted more of her strong security, defense, and fiscal reform policies amid all of this regional instability. And the center, there hasn't really been a left in Japan like in the United States. There hasn't been a pro tranny group by any means. But even the center more or less fell through. The center fell all the way down and collapsed all the way. I believe it was the CDP, the Constitutionalist Democratic Party, and their big thing was keeping Article 9. That Article 9 was necessary for the population and for the country, and at a time when there's so much instability and uncertainty, could not be trusted long term, right? So that party kind of fell right down the toilet. Why to call this kind of test up on this already is that needed this mandate to advance these defense and constitutionalist priorities, as well as just knowing the moment. The party dynamics made consolidating authority than early political advantages, as well as some of these regional rising tensions increased the pressure for a standardized government, rather. And it avoided, as I said before, she had a majority, but not by a whole lot, not enough to radically change stuff overnight. Now she has it. So she's going to be able to kind of do what she wants for the next period of time. We have a comment here from Ronwin Nance. Good evening, Ronwin, and happy anniversary to Ronwin. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Hoping your anniversary is going phenomenal right now. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your special day to join the stream. Here, let's get this. All right, wonderful. Awesome. Thank you for taking the time to learn about Japan with us on Awoken Wednesday. What's this really do for the future of Japan, though, however? We're redefining the sovereignty. That's what the population really desires. The defense normalization is only going to continue. Article 9 is only going to be a little more chipped away in the future. The debate over this constitutional revision will remain pretty crucial to political life. We're also probably going to see one of the strongest comments that Takaichi made after winning Sunday was, I believe the quote is, if there's an attack against Taiwan, it would be met with a response or some military response from Japan. So here's a America First proposal, is that you kind of let Japan piggyback and try and take point on Taiwan a little bit. Not the entire shindig forever, but that's in their ball court, in their football field, on their court. Let's see what Japan can do. Maybe she can get some kind of a military implemented. And that changes the Taiwan game a lot, very fast, because we've talked about Taiwan a couple times now. National security strategy, national defense strategy, that's all the way on the other side of the world. But Japan is there, very, nearby. Let them take point on Taiwan. We still monitor it, but the Japanese, they're the first wave. And they want a more dangerous entry. They want to break free from total shackles of the United States to grow into a stronger nation, right? I believe that's the slide deck for Japan. So happy to take any questions with that. We are going to try and check out maybe watch some of the exchange with Thomas Massey and Pam Bondi earlier today.